Hello everyone, I'm Oli Perez and welcome to the Campus Podcast, bringing McAllen ISD students helpful information for campus life. We'd like to welcome today's special guest, Ms. Cynthia Tijerina, MAC High's lead librarian, who is joining us to talk about library services and all the great opportunities the library has to offer students here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And with that, let's go ahead and just get started with the basics. Books. I know at the library, obviously you can get physical copies, check them in, check them out, but I didn't know this until recently, but actually there's actually an online way to check out books.
Yes. So, of course, when you think of libraries, you think of books, and we do have plenty of books. We've got print books, everything you can imagine, everything from fiction, nonfiction, our anime and manga are really popular. But there is an option of online books now. We're so fortunate that we live in a digital age now. And so, it's easy to take a book with you wherever you go. You can have it on your phone, your iPad, your Chromebook. There's a cool site through our Clever. Everyone knows how to use Clever. Go to clever.com. There's a cool section called Library Resources. And there in Library Resources, there's one called Sora. And so it's linked to Overdrive, and in Sora you can find hundreds, thousands of ebooks, 100% free for all our McAllen ISD students.
I actually did not know that, especially with like audiobooks too. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was just like you had to like
so not just to read, but audiobooks as well. And so I recently became an enthusiast of audiobooks this summer because I realized I could multitask.
Yes.
You could be listening and doing something else.
Absolutely. It's kind of like a podcast, really.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It helps me process it, honestly, hearing it out loud as well. And with online, I also know that there's like a bunch of research.
Yes. So going back to what I was talking about on Mac and Via, there's that whole section called Library Resources. And I really hope, and I know that I go through this with my freshmen, but I hope that all students know that this is a great place to find credible resources, good resources for you all, high school students who are looking to do research. If they go into the Library Resources there in Clever, there's one called Mac and Via. And in Mac and Via is where you're going to find all those cool resources that you're talking about. You're doing a research paper. Your teacher asks for good credible resources. This is where you want to find them, because I tell my freshmen, just because you find it online,
it's not
doesn't mean it's true, doesn't mean it's credible. So make sure that you're finding those resources. So again, log into your Clever, look at the library resources, and click on that Mac and Via. That's where you're going to find all those really great resources.
That was super useful this year. I didn't even know that was a thing. My teacher had to take our whole class to the library because honestly, nobody really talked about this with us.
Exactly.
So this is really useful information to them.
Yes, and so everything's free also. So you don't have to think, a lot of these things like Discovery and all these Britannica, these are things that other people pay for. Yeah. But our district and our region pay for them for us. So why not use them?
Exactly. Very good. With book selections, how exactly would you, I don't know.
So every year we get a budget, so they give us a certain amount of money and we get to buy books for the library. So the beginning of this year, a bunch of kids came in and they were like, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? So the first way that I make selections is students. They tell me, hey, you're missing this book, or we really want this series. Of course, I don't just automatically order it. There are some processes. I have to make sure that it's appropriate, and all of that stuff. But so that's one way that I do book selections. And then, of course, there's always these wonderful lists that the library world gives us. These are the most popular books. These are award-winning books. Yeah. And so that's another way that I make selections. But of course, making sure that everything follows, protocol, and that we're making good choices for books. But definitely, if there's a book you want and we don't have it here in our library, ask, and I can put it on my list. And then the second thing is, if another library has it, another school that's not our school, we can always borrow it for you, like an interlibrary loan. So if we don't have it and somebody else does, we will make it happen for you.
That's actually really cool. I'm not even gonna lie.
Last week, a student needed a book and she's like, I need it today. Another school had it, so I literally drove over there, picked up the book for her, and she had it by the end of the day. So
weird. That was really nice of you. I know in the library there's also computer labs. I feel like I never really see people use them outside of printing maybe, but I always wondered what exactly does it offer?
Yeah, so of course the library has books, but another thing that we have is computer access. We're in a digital world now, and everything is done with our computers. Sometimes I know with our district it's great, everybody has a Chromebook. Everybody's got their Chromebook. Everybody has access to, like what they need. But sometimes you forget it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to go work on something like outside. And so our library has 2 different labs that are available to students. And the great thing is that no matter what school you go to, as long as you're a McAllen ISD student, come in, you can log in with your credentials, you can get onto the computer and use that for research, to get into Mac and VIA, to do anything you need. On that, like you said about printing, a lot of kids don't know this. We offer printing for free. Like, we don't charge anything. You can come in, print what you got to print. I feel like we're in an age where everything's digital. Yeah. But sometimes you need that printed copy. Absolutely. You need to write on it. Yes. You need to, to study and circle things and highlight things. So all students are more than welcome to come in. We've got 2 copiers available, and they're always busy. Yeah. So all you need is to log in as yourself on one of the computer lab printers and send your job to a specific printer, and your jobs come out.
Oh, yeah. Actually, like, those printers have saved me a lot of times. I don't know. Like,
well, yeah. How many times have you been at home? You're like, Mom, I need to print this, and you're like,
there's nothing there.
There's no ink in the printer.
I know, it
happens at my house all the time. Yeah. So I'm grateful that my own child has, had to come to the library and print things. So
I love it. And like, anybody can use that, or is it
anybody? Students, really? Teachers come in and print things. I've even had parents. So if parents need to come in and do something, they're always welcome in our labs as well.
Cool, absolutely. I know the library, there's like a bunch of activities you can do. I always hear about things going on, especially with like book fairs or club events and stuff like that. Do you think you could tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we want the kids to know, like, I feel like if you go back in time, even when I was in school, the library was always a really quiet place.
Yes.
It was like a place where, you came in and it was like, shh, you got to be quiet. Or you kind of like that stereotypical librarian where, she's shushing everybody. Yeah. So it's definitely evolved. Our library is definitely not quiet. I'm probably the loudest librarian around, but noise is okay. Like, we've got music going in there. Like, it's almost like you don't want it to be too quiet.
Yeah.
But it's also so big that everybody can kind of coexist. There might be some kids studying, but then there's kids doing an activity, kids playing a game. Like, it's a space that we want, like you said, to be inviting. We want you all to come in.
Yes.
And on that, there are so many different events and things that happen in our library. This year we started an Instagram page. So it's at @MacHigh_library. So if you're not following the page,
go check it out.
And that gives some good information on like things that are happening at the library. So, we know you all. We know y'all are like glued to your phones and your social media. So we thought, what better way than to kind of like show kids what's happening in the library through social media. So one big thing that's happened this year that we started is something called Maker Mondays. And so the maker space is a cool space in the library where kids can come and get creative. All day y'all are in your classrooms and you're learning and you're doing, but sometimes it's like it's good to like kind of just
have fun.
Have fun, exactly. And so Makerspace Mondays, every Monday that we're open and we can have it, there's an activity that kids can come in and do. We've got all the supplies. It's free, like nobody's paying for anything.
That's really cool.
And you make something and you get to take it. So we've done everything from friendship bracelets, like we had beads and kids came and made bracelets and it was awesome. We've had like bookmark days where kids make bookmarks. Just this week we had these cool beatable pens. Kids came, made their pens, and they got to keep them and take them. And anyone is invited. I've had teachers come in on the Mondays and staff. During the lunch periods, A, B, and C lunch were open. So I want to invite all of our MacHigh kids to come over Mondays for Maker Monday.
Okay, period. That is actually really fun. I love when you have like community events like that. You know what I mean? It really helps you feel like it's a sort of safe place.
Yes,
I agree.
Absolutely.
I think libraries have definitely had a change in like their environment. I think it's really fun with the way that like it's kind of turning. You know what I mean?
Yes, because it is supposed to be, of course, a place where there's information and where you can sit and study and learn. But at the same time,
it's like a place of relaxment. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you're doing work, but you're like you don't feel as stressed with it. Like I don't feel the weight of everything when I'm in the library.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we've got kids that come in during lunch, and they're on the computers and they're working, but they're chatting with their friends, having fun. And that's what it should be. It's not, like I said, don't think you can come into our library and it's just like a quiet place. Like you can come, have fun. Yeah. You're always invited. No one's ever turned away, unless, like I said, there are days when we have testing and it has to close. But other than that, we want everybody to come.
Yeah. on the subject of also having fun, I do know the library also tends to host a lot of the gaming club.
So actually, yes, we in addition to those computer labs, we have a gaming lab in the library. And so we do have a lot of kids that are really into PC gaming.
Yeah.
So we have a club meets every Thursday. And if anybody's still interested, it's not too late to join.
There's a spot open, guys.
Right.
Check it out. Check it out.
So there are two different parts to the gaming. Yeah. There is the esports. So if you're into playing the Switch, Super Smash Brothers is the game that they compete with. Okay. So some kids are busy playing on the Switch. And then we've got another group of kids that's in the gaming lab, and they are working on the game that they're going to compete with. Okay. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's something else that happens, and that's after school. But, yeah, definitely a fun thing.
Yeah, I always, see them during... Because I know... I don't really know. What's your setup like? Is it just they have a really specific spot for them, like a lab?
Yes, they actually do. Like a very specific lab where only, the kids that the game can go and hang out and play. And so, again, it's a cool, safe space.
It's actually really cool. I like...
Yeah.
I don't know. It always seemed really cool to me, but I was never good at it.
No.
So I was like...
Yeah, no, I'm not good at it either. I'm just good at being the adult responsible for those kids.
What's their, coach, is it you guys?
Or it's just teachers, yeah. Oh. And so I'm one of them, and then Mr. Hirsch, one of our social studies teachers. I just want to say, thank you for having me. Yeah. I do want everyone to know that, the library is a place where we want you all to come. We want you guys in there. Even if it's not for books, you don't have to check out a book.
Very true.
Come hang out. We've got coloring pages available all the time. Kids come in for those. What? Just, know that it's a safe space, that if you ever need anything, need an adult, it's myself, and then I've got 3 assistants there in the library, and any one of us can help you with whatever you need.
Well, I think that about wraps it up today. Guys, thank you so much for coming out today. I really love the information you shared with us. Actually, I really helped. I'm not even gonna lie. That was actually really cool. Really fun. Really. Thank you
for
so
having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us and sharing this important information for our graduating seniors. I think that's all we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching.